Welcome back everybody to Bitcoin Daily. My name is Aaron. In today's video, I'm going to catch you up on everything that's been going on in cryptocurrency over the last 24 hours. Got a ton of stuff to share with you. The overall point of this video is when people say that one Bitcoin could equal $50,000 by as early as next year, this is not just some random guess. I mean, there's no coincidence that Warren Buffett has moved his equity out of banks and into gold mining companies. There's no coincidence he's moved his money out of cash and into gold.
Inflation, Keynes said it many years ago that it's an invisible tax that only one man in a million really understands, and it's a tax on people that have had faith in their currency that the government's issued. It's interesting, in the United States, the value of the dollar since I was born has declined by 94% to 6 cents. So inflation is a very cruel tax on people who believe in fixed dollars.
Where we are in the economy, and especially the stock market, we're in a bubble right now. Think about it like this. It took 42 years for Apple to reach a market cap of $1 trillion. Only 2 more years was needed for Apple to surpass a $2 trillion market cap. The real bubble has taken over the tech at Wall Street. Beware of the crash. And that's the reason why Warren Buffett is getting out of the stock market and into gold. Now, that same mindset is what's going to take Bitcoin to $50,000. And then combine that with these next 4 stories. We're going to even have some major Lightning Network news. There's really, for me, a Bitcoin at $50,000, it's not a question of if that's going to happen. That's a question of when, and it's for reasons like this. Let's get to it. The Middle Eastern restaurant with 3 locations across Ontario has announced it will be switching its entire cash reserves into Bitcoin. Let's find out. According to an August 19th tweet storm from Tahini's, they brand themselves as the best Middle Eastern restaurant in the world. They have locations across Canada. They say the decision to switch its cash reserves to crypto had its genesis in the March crash when the Canadian government began to provide assistance programs for businesses unable to stay open due to the pandemic. With the United States and Canada printing money to prop up their ailing economies, Tahini's owner, Omar Haham, started to see the financial system as a game of musical chairs being played out, and the music will stop. And when the music stops, some people are going to get left behind. So just like MicroStrategies that converted its cash holdings into Bitcoin just a few weeks ago, now we're seeing a restaurant chain in Canada do the same thing. This can't be a coincidence. Next piece of news, Bulgarian startup will pay you in Bitcoin when your flight is delayed. Wouldn't you like to get paid in Bitcoin while you're traveling? Well, now you can. With global air industry in turmoil due to pandemic-induced flight delays and cancellations, a startup in Bulgaria is providing the option for travelers to receive compensation in Bitcoin. Compensation via the Colibra app is available to passengers who experience a flight delay of 1 hour or more. The Bulgaria startup has been offering inconvenienced travelers compensation in fiat since it commenced operations in June 2019, but has now added crypto as a payment option as well. As Bitcoin is a volatile asset, users can choose whether they want to lock in the price on the day they register for the flight or the day that they actually travel. For example, a frequent flyer who booked a flight last week and locked in a rate on the app when Bitcoin was priced at $11,000 would have gained a decent return from a flight delayed today when Bitcoin is above $12,000. Colibra states that it will guarantee a Bitcoin payout for any user delayed by 1 hour or more, no matter what the reason the airline provides. This is a service I could see myself taking advantage of. Next piece of news, pro-Bitcoin Senate candidate wins her primary race in Wyoming. We already know Wyoming is very open-minded when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto regulations. Just one final detail. This person previously told CoinDesk that she had been interested in Bitcoin since at least 2013, seeing it as a stable source of value, unlike the US dollar. So we're slowly getting Bitcoiners into positions of power. That's exciting. Now, I know everybody's waiting for a dip, but according to this on-chain data, a dip might not be coming anytime soon. Bitcoin held by cryptocurrency exchanges has dropped to a 20-month low. The amount of Bitcoin in exchange wallets has fallen by another 10% since March, but its value has more than doubled over that same period. So, well, first of all, the amount of Bitcoin sitting on cryptocurrency exchange wallets has fallen to its lowest value since November of 2018. As of yesterday, only 14.2% of the total circulating supply of Bitcoin is on exchanges. That's bullish because you would be seeing, especially big money whales, sending their Bitcoin to exchanges and retail as well to sell their Bitcoin. The fact that it's being taken off exchanges shows that all these investors are just, riding it out. They're holding on to their Bitcoin. They probably expect it to be higher at a certain point in the future. And why not when we're seeing such bullish fundamental things like this? Hugely important update for the Lightning Network. Welcome to the future of finance. And basically, it's called Wumbo. Basically, what this means is, for the first, ever since Lightning Network's inception, a Lightning Network transaction has to be below a certain threshold. Well, not anymore, because, the Lightning Network has reached a certain point. They're taking those restrictions off of the Lightning Network because it is safer and more secure to use at this point. So this is the blog post. We've come a long way since the early, careful days of the Lightning Network. When building, tinkering, and experimenting, we've always encouraged the community to use caution when using the Lightning Network. To keep your funds safe, Lightning channels sizes were limited to a maximum of 0.1677 BTC. After 2 years of hard work and extensive testing from the community, we have reached a point where we finally feel good removing these constraints from those who want larger channels. We now support Wumbo channels over that limit. And this is a sign that the software has progressed to a point where advanced users, companies, and node operators can opt in to larger channels. And there's plenty more information to find out on the specifics of this. But that was the takeaway. The Lightning Network does seem like the future. It's becoming more and more viable every year. And it makes me bullish on Bitcoin. I don't think that Bitcoin needs the Lightning Network to be seen as a store of value. But the fact that the Lightning Network is getting worked on now, when in my opinion we don't really need it, when, a decade from now, when Bitcoin, the price stables out and people start thinking about it more maybe as a, means of exchange, we'll be ready. Plus, the Bitcoin network is being worked on to function in space. I share this stuff with you, as this story develops, but a multi-sig transaction was just signed and sent on the International Space Station. Space Chain has executed a multi-sig Bitcoin transaction in space. The researchers sent 0.01 Bitcoin transfer through a ground facility to the International Space Station. How can you not be bullish? The project aims to build an open-source blockchain-based satellite network that is secure and immutable. So again, it's just this whole network, the whole infrastructure network being built out around Bitcoin is just, it's already 100x. And you can see that it's only getting better. We're just waiting for the price to catch up at this point. And this episode was very Bitcoin heavy. You guys know I'm a Bitcoiner. I think Bitcoin is a decades long opportunity. But besides that, Bitcoins are being tokenized faster than they're being mined because this DeFi craze continues. So since Sunday, 1,043 more Bitcoins were tokenized through wrapped Bitcoin than were actually created by Bitcoin miners, as the Ethereum-based decentralized finance boom shows no signs of abating. And if you've started to see this ticker show up recently, this is that wrapped Bitcoin we're talking about. It's worth the same as Bitcoin, only it's wrapped on the Ethereum blockchain. So that's pretty interesting. Right now, Bitcoin's price is $11,800. Let me know in the comments your thoughts. This is Aaron at Altcoin Daily. See you tomorrow.
Bitcoin cannot be debased. It cannot be debased, and it is now competing with the incumbent currency, US dollar fiat, which not only can be debased, but exists in a state of perpetual institutionalized debasement. This dynamic will encourage a virtuous cycle in which rational actors at the margins decide to hold the non-decaying form of money to the exclusion of that which decays. This is the primary reason gold itself has retained its position in society. It cannot be debased by governments either. When comparing two potential monetary alternatives, The one which is the hardest to debase is probably the one you should prefer, other factors being equal. But here the other factors aren't equal. One of them can also be transferred anywhere on Earth between any two people instantly at near zero cost and can't be shut down or censored. How's that for intrinsic value? But ignore for a moment every interesting advantage of Bitcoin. Ignore the ease with which one can send it. Ignore the censorship resistance. Ignore the universality, the fungibility, and the divisibility. Ignore the impossibility of counterfeit. True, Bitcoin surpasses US dollar fiat in all of these, but ignore those for a moment. Focus purely on the fact, the mathematical fact, that Bitcoin cannot be debased no matter how many guns a government wields, no matter how much propaganda it spews, or innocent people it imprisons. It does not matter how many meetings the Federal Reserve holds in its halls of chiseled marble. Every year, fiat oozes from the sewer of state. As a consequence, it has lost 98% of its value in the past 100 years. How foolish does one need to be to hold it over the next 100? Compared to gold, Bitcoin provides an efficient digital apparatus of payment and exchange that can enable commerce rather than hinder it. But more importantly, compared to fiat, Bitcoin bestows a gift for which humanity will grow increasingly hungry, an open, honest financial system that is under the control of no man, committee, or nation. Bitcoin will find its way into every tributary of economic activity, and with this gradual adoption, Bitcoin will come to replace fiat as the preferred money and medium of exchange for all sovereign people on Earth.